Good morning and welcome to the Mayor's Table. I'm City of Farmington Mayor Nate Duckett, and with me today is City Engineer Nika Westerling and our Public Works Director David Seifer. We're here today on Foothills Drive as we want to discuss the new Foothills Enhancement project that we've been working on for now, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years?
At least.
But we're finally going to construction, and that's the part we want to make sure that people are aware about, is what they can expect at our new roadway, what they can expect to see as far as construction and the time frames, kind of those things we're looking at. But this is a big win for our community, certainly a big win for the people on Foothills Drive and those neighborhoods, because we're adding something that's going to allow them to have a much safer access road between North Foothills and down to Pinion Hills Boulevard. So we're glad that you guys are with us this morning. Nika, of course, you've been a part of this for a very long time. Can you kind of tell us the history of the project?
So we actually conceived of this project in 2012.
Okay.
And we went out got council approval. We went out for RFQP. We hired Sauter Miller through that process, and they started September of 2013 on the design for this. While we were in the middle of the design, we had a lot of public meetings, and what came out of the public meetings was an issue with the speeding from the community, and there were drainage concerns. Right. So we incorporated that into the design, and then we applied for what is called a MAP fund with the DOT. It's a municipal arterial program, some funding, and we did receive the funding. When we received the funding, that slowed down the process a little bit, because then we had to go through the right-of-way bureau with the DOT, which if you've dealt with the right-of-way bureau, it takes forever. So they'll even tell you that's the hardest department to get through.
We're
right?
laughing, right? Because we understand.
So the right-of-way division of the DOT just takes longer to get through. It's a very complicated process. We did get through. We have purchased a couple of pieces of right-of-way. We actually needed to buy a couple of pieces of right-of-way here at this intersection in order to make the roundabout work, which was one of the traffic calming pieces we put in. We also have some traffic calming with a raised median at Johnson Terrace. Okay. As part of that process, to help reduce some of the speeding issues, we're going to narrow the lanes. They will be 11 foot. They're now 12 to 13 foot lanes, so that we'll narrow those down a little bit. We are adding bike lanes on both sides, and the really great thing that we're doing is we're adding a pedestrian path on the east side, and it's an offset path. It's a 10-foot wide path, and we're building it out of recycled material, which is the old roadway.
All right.
So
kind of a crusher fines material, but maybe even a more solid surface.
Right. What'll happen is they'll mill up the roadway, and then they'll compact it, and it'll be a fairly hard surface.
And that can be used for bikes. It can be used for walking.
It could be used for horses, pedestrians, any of those things.
So anybody on this roadway then has access. And I've always talked about the access to Country Club Elementary School for our kids up in this neighborhood, but also for those kids riding the bus. As we have this pathway, a safe place to stand in the mornings when the buses come. Obviously, also, as we can see here, the traffic out here today, you have a safe place to walk your dogs, and that's something I will tell you that a lot of people on Foothills do. So having a safe place to do those things is important. It's a quality of life issue, I see it. Mm-hmm. David, what do you think about, or what do you see as far as maybe the timeline, or how long have they brought anything forward for how long they think it's going to take us to get? Because right now we're just in phase one.
That is correct. We have 3 phases to this project, and in phase 1, the plan is to be complete sometime after Christmas.
Okay.
So
before Christmas.
Well, we hope that we can do it before
He's
Christmas.
Working in a little extra time.
I'm trying to.
It's only been 4 years. I mean, a little bit extra time.
Well, so it was truly in the October to December time frame, there is some bad weather that can occur at times. Sure. And so we do try to give ourselves a little breathing room at that.
Now, of course, we've had some water line replacements here on Foothills over the past couple of years, and many, obviously, that was in kind of preparation, and the timing of it anyway, for us reconstructing this road. But as you said, we're only in phase 1, and that's going to take us from Rinconada down to Holmes, correct, on the south side.
That is correct.
And then we discussed today the possibility, and this is really for people in this neighborhood, but we do have a piece between Holmes and Hillendale that we had to do some additional road work on last year. Will we be seeing any type of repavement over that during this phase?
So we generally have about 4.5 million that we spend on resurfacing.
Sure.
Our plan is among those streets that we would consider paving would be that piece that you mentioned.
Okay.
But we've not yet made that determination because we're still in the budgeting process and still looking at different funding mechanisms.
Keeping our roadways up, obviously improving them as best as we can. And there's a lot of roadways here in the city of Farmington we know need some attention. That $4.5 million is critical, and our people need to understand. And if they paid attention to the budget hearing that we had, our public budget hearing, we talked a little bit about pavement. And for this next budget year, we have quite a bit less money.
We're down to about
paving.
Yes, we're down to about 1.4 million.
So this is something council is really going to have to address, and it's a part of our strategic plan going forward because we want to continue to make sure that our roadways are safe, that we're improving them as they need to be improved, and of course following on that curve for the lifespan of asphalt, and we know that addressing it earlier on extends that life a little bit further. So
oh yes, absolutely, that's a really big key, Mr. Mayor, is that we've got a life of 20 years on a piece of asphalt. Well, you'll get the first 75% of that, and then your last 2 years, if you don't catch it before it totally deteriorates, then your cost goes up by 7 times the amount to try to repair that.
Yeah. Well, council is fully behind this project. We're excited about what it's going to add to this neighborhood. It's been something that's been needed for a very long time, an improvement of the roadways. And I would just ask people to always think with the end in mind. You know, there's going to be orange barrels, there's going to be some delays on some days, so just kind of plan ahead for that. But we're very blessed to have a community like we have where you can have access really to anywhere in the city in a very short amount of time, and you can drive safely to get there. This is just going to be one of those things we're going to work through, and at the end of it, it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
We actually, you mentioned the school buses. We've actually made some accommodations for the school buses where they just drop them on Foothills now. We've moved the neighborhood box units that people just stopped on Foothills to get in their post office. We've actually put those on side streets as part of this project, all for safety.
Excellent.
To try and get that off of this main road.
You know, one of the things before we go, I want to make sure we talk about is the lighting that's going to be a component of this. The night skies are obviously important for people throughout our city. You know, on Foothills Drive, that's a big component of why a lot of people chose to live out here. Is there going to be any additional bright lights that we're going to have to worry about within this project, or how are we mitigating that?
So we've done 2 different approaches. In the first approach, we put in what maximizes safety, and so we've got that layout. And then we have really tried very hard to take citizen input, and so we've got a minimum layout. And so those will be some final decisions as the project winds up into what we do.
Okay, so we're still working through those things.
Yes.
Okay. Well, David and Nika, I certainly am happy with the work that you've done. I know it's been a long process. You've worked diligently at it. I think this is going to be an excellent addition to the Foothills neighborhood and anybody traveling north and south on this road. We just ask people to drive safely during construction season, wherever it may be throughout the city. And if you have any issues or concerns, please reach out to us. We're here. Check out the City of Farmington's Facebook page. Also, you can check out the City of Farmington's website for how to contact David or Nika or really just anybody. That's what it's there for. So thank you for joining us this morning on the Mayor's Table. We look forward to meeting with you again here soon. Thank you.
Thank you.